Breakaway, showtime, he scores!
All you other 15 nincompoops.
I never was beat like that in my life.
Welcome back to the NHL.
It's always good in the NHL when the so-called weaker teams jump up and play some great hockey.
Not a lot of sleep last night, to say the least, and it was good to come out and get the win.
I've said to you before, one of the strengths we've have on our team is some balance.
Get it from the team, only on Leafs TV. MapleLeafs.com for your Leafs online. Meet the players, check their stats and the team standings. Stay on top of everything you want to know about the Maple Leafs. Go back in time with the Leafs interactive timeline and relive Leafs history dating back to the 20s. Or look ahead to the future with the Maple Leafs 5-game outlook. Plus, breaking news, analysis, features, game coverage, and exclusive columns about the team. Even downloadable Toronto Maple Leafs images to customize your desktop. And check out what's on next on Leafs TV. Online, all the time. MapleLeafs.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joe Bowen, and it's been my privilege and honor over the last 20 years to broadcast the games of some of the finest athletes ever in the National Hockey League to the world's greatest fans. You, the fans of the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know, the Leafs and the city of Toronto are synonymous, something that can't be said for very many centers around the face of the planet. Over the last 75 years, this franchise has carved out a large piece of our hearts and minds, something that has been very special. Now, we could spend 75 hours talking about the tradition and history of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Instead, we invite you to sit back, enjoy some of the highlights of the men and the teams that have made this tradition, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans in the United States.
It was great to hear hockey from Foster Hewitt. He just made it sound like you were there.
If we were going to stay in the big league, we'd have to have a new arena.
All the seats teared up, you know. It was a glorious place.
He was hired to work for the Maple Leaf organization, and quite frankly, I thought I had died and gone to heaven.
Toronto Maple Leafs have won the Stanley Cup. Bob Bond lets it drive to score!
If you ever win a Stanley Cup here, boy, that parade that they had for us year after year, I mean, this is a great hockey town.
10 points in a single game is beyond conception. It was a miracle night.
Toronto Maple Leafs are life in Toronto. People care about their kids and going to church on Sundays and the Toronto Maple Leafs.
It's a great thrill to be part of the team for the 75th anniversary.
On February 13th, 1999, there was one place every hockey player and fan wanted to be: Maple Leaf Gardens. The arena on Church and Carlton had been home to Toronto's beloved Leafs since 1931, and the era was now coming to a close. The team's astounding history of 11 Stanley Cups, dozens of Hall of Famers, and fan favorites came together to say goodbye. But to understand what made this night so extraordinary, you have to go back to the beginning. Before there was a Maple Leaf Gardens, there was a man who forever changed the city of Toronto and the hockey world.
In 1927, the St. Pat's owners at the time wanted to sell the team and move out. There's an offer from the city of Philadelphia for $200,000 to buy the team and move them out.
Enter Constantine Falkland Smythe. Smythe angered at being fired by the New York Rangers in 1926, hatched a plan to save hockey in Toronto.
Conn Smythe had come in and said to the owners, says, if you lose the team, it'll be a long time before you get another franchise. So they said to him, well, if you can match the offer, we'll let you have the team.
In February 1927, with help from other investors, Smythe did purchase the St. Pat's. He did, however, make immediate changes.
The owners wanted to capitalize on the large Irish population in the city, so they gave the team an Irish name. And Conn Smythe was a monarchist and a proud Canadian, so he changed the name.
Conn Smythe was a military man, and in the First World War, there was a regiment or division with the Maple Leaf insignia on it, and he thought that was appropriate for Canada's team.
A name change and blue and white uniforms gave the team a new look, but it was Smythe's personality that truly altered the franchise.
His word was gospel. If you played for Conn Smythe, you'd better be on your toes at every moment.
He demanded loyalty and demanded perfection and tradition, and if Conn Smythe was not involved originally, the Leafs may have taken a different path.
It was Smythe leading all the way, acting as owner, general manager, and coach early on. And when he signed Harvey Jackson in 1929, pairing him with Charlie Conacher and Joe Primo, the famous Kid line was born.
The Kid line, I think, was the first great line, certainly the first great line for the Leafs. Primo was a very classy centerman. Conacher had the booming shot and the big body to go into the corners and get the puck, and Jackson could do it all.
Conacher was a bull on right wing, and normally I had to cover him quite often. And he said one time, he said, you better come in the dressing room. You've been with me all night.
They used to say Joe Primo made the bullets and Charlie and Harvey fired them. They were fantastic.
With the scoring line in place, Smythe set his sights on obtaining a star defenseman. And when word spread that Ottawa was willing to sell top blue liner King Clancy for the hefty sum of $35,000, Conn jumped at the chance in a unique way.
Smythe himself was not a very wealthy man, so he had all of these connections to finance the team. But in order to get King Clancy, all he did was went to the racetrack and bet a ton of money on a horse called Rare Jewel.
Conn Smythe's horse won the first race she ever won, and he bet hard on her. I think he made $11,000, and that helped him accumulate enough money, $35,000, an unheard of sum.
So I got right on that train and went off to Ottawa. Got a hold of Clancy and got him down in the room, and right then and there I knew he was for us, because he didn't sit still. He jumped over the top of the bed and on top of the dressers and all over the place. And I said, I understood, Clancy, that you didn't like Toronto, that you wouldn't play in Toronto. I'll play any place, he says. I'll play any place.
He's one of my idols. I always thought number 7, that's the number he wore, was my number. And when we were thinking of getting married, my wife chose the month and I chose the date. Guess what? The 7th of September.
Courage, character, heart, and devotion. That's what he got with King Clancy.
With Clancy and Captain Hap Day on defense and the Kid line on the attack, the Leafs were an exciting team to watch, packing the 8,000-seat Mutual Street Arena every game. Smythe wanted to capitalize on the team's growing popularity by building a new arena. But it wasn't a time for expensive endeavors.
It was the start of the Great Depression, you know, and I guess a lot of people thought he was kind of crazy to start such a big project when the world was tight for money.
Smythe and his assistant Frank Selke were still determined to build their dream. So they offered trade union stock in the new building in return for labor. The workers agreed, and Maple Leaf Gardens turned from a dream into reality.
I was fortunate enough to be able to go in the odd time during the construction, and I'd look at this place and look up and see the dome, and